Hey everyone, this is Yours Peels with an edition of 3D Printing News Unpeeled. Today we learn of AeroForge, a Rice University project by a bunch of students run by Ellie Case, Joanna Dickman, Garrett French, Galio Guo, and others. That is meant to that has succeeded in making a low-cost cold spray 3D printer. Now, cold spray 3D printing is, well, cold spray itself is a technology that's been used for very, very many years in clouding applications. And Speed 3D, the Australian company, has developed a cold spray printer. Apart from them, there are very few adherents to this technology, really, and not a lot of people are developing machines to it. So it's nice to see something happen in cold spray. Now, why is cold spray interesting? Well, it's not a technology that's really suited to making really intricate parts for rocket nozzles and things like that. It's more of a technology that's really suited in laying down a lot of material in a very low cost way, very very quickly compared to other processes. At the same time, this material doesn't have to be the top of the shelf, very tightly controlled materials that we need for powder fusion. So we're talking like a really low cost technology to make lots of low cost parts very quickly. So think of like an energy company in the middle of nowhere, a mining company in the middle of nowhere, or an oil company or a platform somewhere, or maybe a military and an expeditionary force somewhere. Speed is an ideal kind of technology in cold spray generally. Um, Ukraine has 6 of these machines, for example, Speed machines are, I think, right now the largest client. And most of Speed's other customers are also in the military as well, in the UK military, the Australian one, and the US one. So you can see really that that's the kind of clients that flock to this kind of system. So it's nice to see something going on by somebody else making machines very, very similar. Um, the team won the Excellence in Capstone Engineering Award, the Wiley Revolution Award for Outstanding Innovation, and the Herschel Rich Invention Award. Super good to making the system. Now, the remarkable thing about this is the BOM cost of the system. Now, of course, I spent a lot of time, the big team making it, but the actual the parts cost is $5,000. Which makes me a bit nervous actually, because what these things do is, when they're really high pressure, they heat a gas of 450 C and then expel it, and it expands and cools and shoots particles at really really high speeds at a workpiece, and then they build up. So this is not a system without it's not something you want to really make in a garage kind of thing for 5 grand. So I think it's kind of really cool they managed to do this and not get anyone killed. So that's really nice, and I think there's a huge potential here. I mean, it's a great project to have these students do something that's really relevant, that's relatively new. They didn't just characterize ink and elf or whatever. They did something really new and interesting. But if I was them, I would try to commercialize this because there's a huge, huge potential for making this. The thing prints copper at the moment, and I think it will need to become a lot more reliable, a lot safer. But I think this is an absolutely fantastic device and great news, great work by the team in Rice making something so relevant and so interesting as a university project. The next thing is, I think, something we need to be paying an awful lot more attention to, and that is engineered living materials. Now, we've seen certain things of this, like we've seen certain peaks of these kind of materials where either somebody's trying to use a spray to spray lichen somewhere, or somebody's trying to control living materials. But the idea is really to engineer living materials in a way that kind of bridges the gap between biology and takes the best things from biology, let's say the low cost or the functionality, things like that, and takes the best things in engineering, directing something in a particular way to be like it is. So more than just bioengineering, this is more like an engineered material where we're using a biological system or series of biological systems and steps to really kind of come up with a new kind of material. Now, there's a paper out, it's called Advancing Engineered Plant Living Materials Through Tobacco, BY2 Cell Growth, and Transfection Within Tailored Granular Hydrogel Scaffolds. Quite a mouthful. It's by Yu Wang, Zheng Gao Di, Minglang Qin, and Shengmi Ku. And I apologize for butchering your names, guys. And this is in this EPLM, so it's Engineered Plant Living Materials. So what they did, they 3D printed a scaffold. You can see that on your left. Using in part on top of that, they then printed the BY2 cell line, and then they kind of infected it with Agrobacterium tumefaciens. They managed to then, at this point, introduce foreign DNA, and they managed to unlock kind of a directed pigmentation. And kind of demonstrate in a really quite straightforward way how you'd make a living material and how you'd turn it on to do something quite interesting that you probably couldn't do if you were just doing this with chemicals. So this is something that's, we can hardly ever conceive of this at the moment. What are we doing with this? What's the application? I don't know. But this is something where we could maybe come up with a whole new filtration system or a whole new cell line or a whole new system to make living life in a new way or to expand it in a very very different way than we are doing right now. So this is something I urge you to pay attention to this, because there's more and more people will be inspired by this and other papers coming out, and it's a complete new intersection. I'm sorry I can't really explain really well what is going to be the future impact of this, but it's as a research area, it's very very exciting because it's this intersection between biology and all the great things that the biological systems do, like propagate themselves infinitely, like use DNA as this ultimate, like a really precise but also really flawed, perfectly flawed, if you will, kind of instruction, and adapting to environments and stuff like that. And that plus then the engineering knowledge of trying to get a certain result for in a certain way. It's going to be a very exciting area. In this case, yeah, we're using the bioprinting and 3D printing to do this, and it's a very logical way to kind of combine the scaffolding world, DNA, and other kind of structures in a real biofabrication process. So I would expect more of this, and keep your eyes peeled. And again, I can't really tell you what's going to happen with this. It's too much kind of the intersection of the future and the possible and all that. But I do think it's an area where you should pay attention to. The next thing is the Roland DGA. Now, Roland, we always forget about Roland. Roland is a gigantic company in making milling machines and small desktop milling solutions. They've kind of taken a semi-small interest in 3D printing. Like, they've been rather aloof to it, frankly. But they make a lot of these desktop milling machines for dentists and all this, and they are really impacted by the 3D printing as a development, and they have done some things in 3D printing, but they have not really fully engaged with the technology that much. That's why it's nice to see the next thing. It's the DGSHAPE. This is a dental 3D printer bundle. Now, we all know that the dental market in 3D printing is much more advanced than all these other markets. It's expanding quickly, but it's also coming up with lots more very mature solutions. For example, chair-side dentistry. Then there'll be other solutions where there's all the software and all the workflow and everything for working together and for in a dental lab, and then there'll be different materials for working together for Invisalign and that kind of thing. So it's a really mature market where we're getting really custom solutions. Very few people are making for dental kind of like, here, we could use this for dental, I guess. Most of the solutions are really like, no, this is really all dialed in and everything works together. So it's nice to see Roland DGA come out with something similar in this DGSHAPE thing. Now, what they have on the one part, they've got a 4K LCD 3D printer, 19 or 190 by 120 or 180 mil. And that's enough for about 8 dental arches. If that means anything to you, that's what they say you can print. And that also comes with a cleaning system, a curing system, and even their own resin and CAD software if you want. And also, what's really really nice, I think this is the thing I like the most about this whole thing, is that look, we've got some CAD solutions for you. It's it's not going to be like Autodesk-y kind of stuff, but it is going to be helpful. And these CAD solutions are free. There's no maintenance fee on the CAD. There's no like 20% you pay per year or something like that. That's for you to use. And another thing that I think is really great is it comes with a resin. So if you're like, hey, I just want to out of the box print stuff, that's cool. But they say, hey, it's open, and we validated many resins. So if you want to use a resin for someone else, that's fine. Right, but we'll give you something to start off. So I think that's a beautiful solution. There could be people out there that just like buy this thing, keep buying the resin from Roland, and that's fine. That'll make them a lot of money. But at the same time, we know that if people are starting to do production and use these things day in, day out, 3 shifts, whatever, that kind of thing, we know they go shopping for resin. We know that people then get really low cost stuff. So, I think it's great, for Roland to offer you a complete solution if you want. Just out of the box, you're printing, off you go. Or the option to just industrialize this in your own way with your own materials with other vendors. I think it's a very mature thing. I think it's a wonderful thing. And I hope that Roland does more stuff in 3D printing land. Anyway, my name is Joris Peels. Have a great day. This is 3D Printing News Unpeeled, brought to you